morning, 6 o'clock here on your Monday. Thanks for waking up with us and starting off a new week with us here on Up With KREM. I'm Tim Pham. Well, we have Jenny Power here as well. Jenny, you are tracking, a much calmer week. When you talk about last week, this time last week we were dealing with hot weather, we were dealing with windy conditions. So tell us what we can expect this week.
Yeah, good morning, Tim. We are set to see some more mild weather conditions in comparison to, yes, all of the hot weather and the critical fire danger that we have been consistently dealing with previously. It is still going to be hot and breezy, but as we're waking up and taking this live look over downtown Spokane, a really cool sunrise kind of breaking through those light clouds that we have. It's also a cooler start to the day today. We're at 58 degrees right now in the Spokane area with winds that are light out of the south at about 7 miles per hour sustained. And as we take a look throughout the region, we're waking up to much cooler temperatures up in North Idaho as well as western Montana. 48 degrees in Sandpoint, 49 right now for Libby. We are in the mid to upper 50s through Moses Lake, Ritzville, and Othello. So you might notice it does feel a little bit cooler on this Monday. We are still dealing, though, with some unhealthy air quality. Right now, it is up toward Omak in the Okanagan Valley, but we've got the potential of dipping in and out of unhealthy as we move forward because of regional wildfires that continue to burn. So that's something we'll monitor as we take a look at your current satellite and radar, though. It's a dry start here for much of the region with some partly cloudy skies. Over the next 12 hours, we are going to see a gradual clearing trend with highs this afternoon that are going to be a bit closer to our average here for this time of year. This afternoon, we're looking at some mid to upper 80s across Spokane and Coeur d'Alene with some low 90s out toward the central part of the state. Temperatures, however, are really going to climb toward the end of the week, and we are going to see more elevated winds prompting the potential of critical fire danger. More on that, though, in my extended forecast. Let's also get you out the door with what we are seeing on your traffic impact this morning. Right now, we are waking up to mostly dry road conditions, and traffic volumes are gradually starting to pick up. But overall, as we take a live look at I-90 and Pines, things are moving along smoothly. Continuing to take a look across the region, this puts us along I-90 and Broadway, along that curve there, where things are really in some good shape for the morning commute so far. Of course, we'll keep you updated on any collisions that happen, but for now, no major collisions to report to you. Tim?
All right, Jenny. Developing now, police made an arrest in last night's deadly shooting in Seattle. 3 people are dead and 4 others are hurt. This happened at the Bite of Seattle, which is right next to the Space Needle. Thousands of people crowded the Seattle Center for the festival. And this morning, we know the victims range in age from 2 years old to 56 years old. Seattle police believe 2 people were shooting at each other when others were hit. Police found 2 guns, but they are still looking for 1 suspect, possibly more. We will have a live report from Seattle coming up later in our show. Tracking wildfires this morning. First, there are level 3 evacuations in Stevens County for the Bradine Hill fire in Stevens County. This is burning near the Gifford area. So far, this fire has grown to nearly 2,600 acres and is 0% contained. A Red Cross shelter is open at Jenkins High School in Chewelah. Small animals are allowed while large animals can be taken to Arden Rodeo Grounds. State mobilization has been approved for this fire. Meanwhile, in Boundary County, the Upper Smith fire is 15% contained. It's burned more than 1,100 acres. Level 2 Get Set evacuation orders remain in place for the Smith Creek and West Side areas. A community meeting will be held tonight at 6 p.m. at the Mount Hall Elementary School to talk about the fire. All evacuation orders are lifted and all roads are back open for the railroad fire in Grant County. The fire burned more than 8,200 acres. Right now it is 90% contained. Sadly, the fire did destroy 7 homes. Crews will continue to mop up hotspots and work on containment lines. This morning, all evacuations have been dropped for a fire that started next to East Bigelow Gulch Road in Spokane Valley. Spokane County Fire District 9 says the fire is a little more than 60 acres. The fire started yesterday afternoon and quickly spread throughout a wheat field. New this morning, the mayor of Post Falls, Randy Westland, is calling on other Idaho mayors to release information on law enforcement's use of cameras. In a statement released on Friday, he shared Post Falls does not and will not use flock camera systems. He says the city uses Motorola cameras that read license plates. He also says the city does not collaborate with federal law enforcement like ICE. Westland says under state law, all cities are required to keep some images for a minimum of 2 years. He believes that is wrong and urges state lawmakers to amend state law to have the data deleted within 90 days. Intense flames from a massive apartment fire in Spokane Valley. This morning, about 60 people are waking up without a place to go home to. Spokane Valley Fire says a fire spread through all 5 floors of one building at the Eagle Rock Apartments. The upper units had extensive damage, while others had smoke and water damage. No one was hurt in the fire, but several pets died. The Red Cross is helping displaced residents. The fire's cause remains under investigation. It's 6:06. One person is dead following a boat crash on the Coeur d'Alene River over the weekend. The Kootenai County Sheriff's Office says the crash happened on Saturday. Both people on the boat were thrown into the water. Nearby boaters rescued one person, but the second person never resurfaced. The sheriff's dive team later recovered the body of 49-year-old Matthew Cross. Investigators believe alcohol may have been a factor in the crash. The investigation is ongoing. Today, the trial against the Adams County Sheriff's Office is expected to start. The state claims the Sheriff's Office is illegally collaborating with ICE, violating the state's Keep Washington Working Act. The act restricts local law enforcement collaboration with federal immigration enforcement. The AG's office says the suit is asking the Sheriff's Office to follow state law. A vigil in Coeur d'Alene over the weekend brought people together to honor 2 men fatally shot during separate immigration enforcement operations. The event was a part of a nationwide ICE Out Day of Action. KREM 2's Emily Fox-Millian spoke to volunteers.
2 men, 2 shootings, thousands of miles apart, and on Saturday, a crowd gathering saying their deaths shouldn't be forgotten.
With each ring of the bell, organizers say they honored a person who died in ICE custody during the first 500 days of President Donald Trump's second term.
This event, in my understanding, is just to remember the people that have been killed because of the ICE operations around the country. And it seems pretty over the top that anybody should have to die.
Dozens gathered at Atlas Waterfront Park Saturday for the vigil organized by North Idaho Indivisible. The group says the event focused on Lorenzo Salgado Arujo and Johann Sebastian Guerrero, 2 men recently killed in ICE enforcement operations in Texas and Maine. Both of those shootings are still under investigation.
Vigils do help ensure that Lorenzo's and Johann's killings do not fade from public attention, and they send a clear moral message.
Organizers say the vigil's part of the National ICE Out Day of Action. It's a series of demonstrations across the country calling for greater accountability following the 2 deadly shootings. Many came for different reasons, some simply there to honor the 2 men, and others hoping events like this will lead to a larger national conversation about immigration enforcement.
We need to be a kinder nation, a gentler nation.
Mike asked KREM 2 to not use his last name due to security concerns. He says he came to the vigil because he believes people with different perspectives should have open conversations about immigration and how the country moves forward.
Ask everyone who has an opinion about it in either way to come together and talk about it with your neighbors and friends.
All right.
There's got to be a consensus about how we handle the situation before us.
For those who gathered here, each ring of the bell represented a life already lost, and they hope they won't have to ring it again.
We reached out to Immigration and Customs Enforcement to comment on Saturday's nationwide ICE Out Day of Action. By the time this story's aired, they did not get back to us. In Coeur d'Alene, Emily Fox-Millian, KREM 2 News.
This morning, we are learning about a crash in Spalding, Idaho that sent 2 people to a hospital. Idaho State Police says the crash happened last night along Highway 95. ISP says the driver of a black pickup truck was traveling northbound on Spalding Bridge when it crossed the center line and struck another pickup truck head-on. Both drivers were taken to a hospital. The preliminary investigation shows alcohol may have been a factor in the crash.